Both my parents are neurologists, and they're probably going to hate me for telling you this because it's going to cost them a lot of money. But if you have sciatica, neuropathy, carpal tunnel, or just any kind of nerve issues, and you guys can't afford the B vitamin injections anymore, you guys need to be looking for a B vitamin complex. So if you didn't know, your nerves are like electrical wires. They have this little sheathing protection around them. That sheathing is made up of B vitamins. So as you get a deficiency, this breaks down, exposing the nerve, giving the tingles, the numbness, the pins and needles, the burning. The B vitamin injections are phenomenal, but they can also get really expensive really quick. Most affordable, effective B vitamin complex I found is actually on the TikTok shop now. It's made by a company called Neurologist.
This is a great example of how a little knowledge can be a dangerous thing. You understand bits and pieces of a complex story and you think you've had the narrative all put together, but you don't quite get it. So I'm an actual neurologist, not my parents are neurologists, not a secondhand neurologist. And I'm actually board certified in neuromuscular medicine, so specializing in neuropathies like he's talking about. So let me correct what he's saying there. So yes, some neuropathies can be caused by B vitamin deficiencies, which is why we test your B vitamin levels when you come in for any neuropathy, even if we think it's not specifically caused by a B vitamin deficiency, because we want to see just how healthy your nerves are in general. And if your B12 levels are on the low side, it'll make it harder for you to recover from that carpal tunnel syndrome. It's not causing your carpal tunnel syndrome. Carpal tunnel syndrome is by definition a physical problem, usually just wear and tear of the nerve as it goes through the carpal tunnel in your wrist, the median nerve. And that could be caused by inflammation, by repetitive motion, by fluid retention, such as in pregnancy, and things like that. But we would check your vitamin levels just to make sure that that's not hampering your ability to get better or worsening your symptoms, worsening your syndrome. So that's already routine, checking for B vitamins. I always prefer to just check the levels and then to supplement accordingly rather than blindly supplement. Part of the reason for that is because if you have too high B6, for example, that could actually damage your nerves. I've seen B6 toxicity, neurotoxicity, actually being a cause for neuropathy. So just blindly supplementing is not always a good idea. It's better to know where you're starting from, what are your levels and what role might they be playing. Now let's talk about injections for a minute. He's saying that don't take the expensive injections, take the pills. It's like, well, that doesn't work for everybody. In fact, for B12 only, this really only applies to B12, it's hard for the B12 to be absorbed in your stomach. And it actually needs a cofactor. You need to make a cofactor to bind to the B12 and carry it across the membrane to get absorbed into your blood, unlike the other vitamins. And so if you don't have a lot of that cofactor, or for whatever reason, as we get older, we tend to absorb B12 less well. Some people have a low B12 level because they cannot absorb it. You may be able to overcome this with a high-dose oral supplement by taking the pill, or maybe you don't. And if you can't get your level up with the pills, you need the injections. You need to bypass your GI system. You need to bypass the stomach and just inject it directly. And so if you're getting an injection because you can't absorb B12, taking a pill won't help you. It's not the solution. The person who would know all about this is your doctor, right? They would know which B vitamin, if any, you're low in, how much to supplement you, and if it's B12, whether you could get away with an oral supplementation or if you need an injection. Sometimes we try the oral first. If that doesn't work, we can go to the injection, or you could just test people's ability to absorb B12 if that will help determine whether you need the injection or not. So don't do this on your own. Don't just decide for yourself, because you're just taking a crapshoot. It may not be the right answer. It might not be the right vitamin. You might already have too much. The pill might not work if you need an injection. Your neuropathy may have absolutely nothing to do with B vitamins, so you don't want to miss what's really going on if there's something else going on. It could be an inflammatory problem or a mechanical problem, like a compressive problem, for example. Or a degenerative problem, or a genetic problem. There's lots of things that can cause problems with your nerves, or something else metabolic, like maybe you do have diabetes, and sometimes diabetes presents as tingling in your feet. That's how you know you have diabetes. Don't just take the B vitamins, See your doctor, get a diagnosis, find out what's actually going on. And don't think because you have a little bit of secondhand knowledge, you understand all of this complexity and you don't need to see a doctor. You do.